Welcome to Kitchen Counseling. I'm Chef Tom. I'm your motorcycle riding holistic chef. Now I'm really excited about this recipe we're doing today. We've been doing a lot of healthy stuff for the last few weeks and whatnot. We're going to go a little bit outside the box here today. I have an apricot cheesecake bar recipe. Now I have a really nice sour cream lemon cheesecake that I do, and I've been doing it for years. This recipe is adapted from Martha Stewart's, and I just did a little bit different in it, but it's really a nice recipe, and it's easy. It's easy to make and easy to take. That's what I like about it. The cheesecake sometimes can be really big, too much. The bars, you can actually cut them in any size you want. So they're great for parties. They're great for just something different for a family get together or whatnot. So let's go through the recipe real quick just so you know what's in it, and then I'll show you what I got going here. So in our recipe, to make one of these, we're gonna do a 9x13 sheet tray. So we can make, it makes at least a dozen of them. So you're gonna have 6 ounces of graham cracker crumbs, 6 ounces of graham cracker crumbs, and that equates out to about 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs if you don't have like a scale. We're gonna do 1 cup of sugar for the actual mixture, that was gonna be the cheesecake part of it. Then you're gonna use also 3 additional tablespoons for the crust. And we're gonna do the crust first, we'll do that first here. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, and about 10 ounces of apricot halves. You're gonna pit them, cut them into 8s, and we're gonna cook them down with some lemon juice, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and some water. We got some 16 ounces of cream cheese at room temperature. It kind of helps, makes it a little bit easier, so I've taken this stuff out, let it sit out for a little while. 1/2 cup of sour cream, 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and 2 large eggs. So if you want this recipe, definitely send me an email, yoursoulpath@gmail.com. Whoa, and I'll get that recipe out to you. So let me pan this down so you can see we've got some of the stuff staged already, ready to go. Let's bring our camera down here. All right. So as you see, we've already got our butter. It's already been melted, and that's basically 1 stick. Here's our 1.5 cups of the graham cracker crumbs. We got 16 ounces of cream cheese. We got 2 eggs. We're gonna put in the sour cream, and we got some vanilla and some sugar here off the side and a little bit of salt. And I've got 2 of them, as you can see, because I got some friends that really want some of this. So I'm making one for you guys and I'm making one for them at the same time. So I doubled it all up, but that's really it. So the first step is we're gonna make the crust. You're gonna preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Get that up and warming, because we're gonna make the crust now. We're gonna bake the crust for a few minutes and get it set, and we're gonna let it cool. While it's cooling, we'll make the cream cheese part of it, the filling that's gonna go in it. Then we're gonna put it back in the oven and we're gonna bake it down. And then we're gonna finish it off with the apricots and the swirl, and it's gonna be really cool when you see it done. Okay, so let's start let me take a break and grab this stuff together, and then we'll start on that. Okay, be right back. See ya. Okay, we're back. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make the crust now. So we're gonna spin you down here so you can kind of see what's happening with the bowl. So in this bowl here, I've got the 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs. I have 3 tablespoons of sugar and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Just mixing it up, kind of get it all. Then we're gonna throw in our 1 stick of melted butter, which is 1/2 cup of melted butter. And then we're just stirring it. We're just gonna stir it to start getting it all together. I'll start just so it all starts to get wet so we can actually put it into the pan. Okay, once it kind of starts getting together like this, I actually like to use my hands. So I did a nice wash job before we started here. This always helps get all of it melded together. Plus, I feel when you're working with your hands, you're putting love into it. People they can taste that. It just tastes great. Put your love into your food. All right, so here's our base. Okay, now we're gonna take one of our pans here. Spin you around so you can see that just a little bit. We're going to put this into the base. All right. Just spread it out, spread it out. Basically want to cover the whole bottom. I got a little bit bigger pan than I probably should here, but it's still going to work. You don't want tons of a base. You want just enough to kind of cover the bottom of it here. You don't want any holes though, so you want to kind of keep working it, spreading it around, filling in everything. Now the recipe says you can use like a flat bottom measuring cup to make it nice and even and smooth. And that's fine, do what you're comfortable doing. I like working with my hands. I can actually manipulate it a little bit finer by hitting all the spots, finding where I have still some holes to deal with. And then you get it all set. And there's your base. And we're just going to stick this in the oven now, and we're going to go ahead and bake this for 15 to 18 minutes, again on 350 degrees, and then we're going to take it out and let it cool. So we'll be right back. Let's do it. All right, we're back. Here's what we got going. We've got the crusts in the oven, and they're baking right now. They're going to be done in a few minutes. So while that's working, we're going to make the mixture that's going to go inside. This is the good stuff. All right, you're going to love this. All right. So what we have, I'm going to put you down on the mixer here, and we're going to walk right through this. So right down here, we got our nice KitchenAid mixer. You can see that. All right. So we already have our 16 ounces of cream cheese in there. And then we're going to throw in a half a cup of sour cream. Just like so. And then we're going to go ahead and start to mix that together. Medium. And while that's mixing, we're going to add 3/4 cup of sugar, just a pinch of salt, and a half teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And we're just kind of beating this until it's smooth. We're going to scrape down the sides here so you can kind of see what we got going here. It's getting nice and smooth. Got a little bit of granular still with the sugar. So we're going to beat it just another minute probably, and then we're going to add the eggs. Alright, so let's get our eggs going here. Now we got some nice color going there. We got some smooth coming on. I'm going to bring it down, do another little scrape down the sides so we get all that stuff mixed in nice and smooth. A little bit more beating, we'll get it a little bit smoother, and then this will be ready. There we go. All right. Nice. I love this. This is such a great little recipe. Okay, that is basically, that is it. That is your mixture you're gonna put inside, okay? So let's bring it out of here. See what we got. Oh, there's our crust already. That's nice. Okay. So yeah, so here's our mixture. That's gonna be poured right in there. All right, I'm gonna go grab those crusts out. We're gonna put them and cool them for a few minutes. We want them cool down before we put this in there. And we'll be right back. We'll talk about the apricot part. Okay, see you. Okay, we're back. Okay, here's what's going on now. We've got the crusts actually have come out of the oven. And actually, I can pick them up now and show you. Got a nice little baked crust. We're letting them cool down. All right, we want them to be nice and cool. You don't have to be cold, but we want them cool down before we put the mixture in. We've also got our mixture all ready to go here. Of course, I can't get it off of the thing. So we got our nice mixture ready to go. We're gonna pour that in there in a couple minutes. So we need to talk a little bit about the other step, and that is the apricots. So I actually made this recipe for like 100 people 6 months ago. So I made a whole bunch of this apricot puree and I just froze it. So I actually had that ready to go. So I'm gonna show you the finished product of what it is, and then we're gonna talk about how to get there, okay? So this is our apricot puree, all right? That's all it is. We just warmed it up again in this nice little salad master pan. If you like any interest in the pans or anything like that, please check out a link at the end of the show and go talk to my friends Scott and Melissa. They're fabulous and they can get you hooked up. But anyway, let's talk about how we did this apricot. So with the apricots, what you're gonna need is you're gonna need 10 ounces of apricots, and you're gonna have them, pit them, and then cut them into eighths. So like little wedges and stuff like that. You're gonna throw the apricots into a small saucepan, just like what we have here. We're gonna put them in a small saucepan. You're gonna put in about a 1/4 cup of sugar and a pinch of salt, and you're gonna boil that to on high heat till it gets to boiling, and stir it, and I'll make sure the salt, the sugar all dissolves. Then you're gonna reduce that heat and simmer, stirring just occasionally until it's about shiny. It takes about 10 minutes, okay? Then once that is done, and you've done that, and it cools down a little bit, you're gonna throw it into a food processor. So you just throw the whole mixture into a food processor. You're gonna add a tablespoon of water and a tablespoon of lemon juice, and you're just gonna puree it. That's all you're doing and get into this stage. And then you just set it aside, because that's gonna be the final step to make the nice pretty, and it's also gonna give that apricot flavor. So that's how we do the apricot part of this recipe, and we're now at the point where we're going to start putting it all together. So I'm going to gather everything up here and we'll be right back. All right, see you. All right, so we're back. We're ready to put this all together. All right, so one thing I want to mention, I was doing it really fast when I was doing the beating of the mixture that's going to go in here, and since I'm making 2 of them and I'm bringing some of the other folks and whatnot, I did that first one a little bit fast. You want to continue to mix that until there's no lumps or anything like that. So I put it back in the mixer, mixed it up a little bit more. You just want to get it nice and smooth, and then before you get it put into the oven, so it's cooked. So just a disclaimer there. Let's swing down so I can show you what I'm doing at the final stage. Now, as you can see, I have one done. I actually finished it. That's what it's going to look like before going in the oven. So now we're going to do the other one. So we take our mixture from the mixture that we put together, the sour cream, the cream cheese, the vanilla, the eggs, all that good stuff. And we're just going to pour it in here. Now we've let this cool. This has been cooling for about 10-15 minutes, so it's still a little warm, but it's not hot. We want this to be able to set up on here good, and then we're gonna set it in the oven and let it get all put together. So you're gonna just smooth this out. Just kind of make it fairly even all the way around. Oh man, these are so good. I love these. All right, so now we have our base in here. So now we're gonna put in the little extra, which is the apricot puree. And really all you're going to do with the apricot puree is you're just going to drop some spoonfuls of it on the top. And then with a thin knife, or you can even use a big toothpick or whatever, you're just gonna drag it through and mix it around and make some nice designs. Now, if you're really creative, you can probably make this really pretty. Sometimes I'm not so creative when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I do my best. I'm better at the tasting. That's my thing. As you can see, the more you move it, it just kind of gives it nice little swirls. That's all you're doing. All right, so that is gonna go into the oven now. Whoa, sorry folks. Going kind of wild and crazy here at the last minute. Whoa, stop. Oh, take it easy. It's like we're in an earthquake or something. All right, let's get you a little bit. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to throw this in the oven. We turn our oven down to 325. It was at 350 to bake the crust. Now we turned it down to 325. Now we're gonna set these in the oven. We're gonna bake them for about 25 to 30 minutes. And then we're gonna let them cool on a wire rack for a little bit. Just bring the temperature down. And then we're gonna refrigerate them for 2 hours. You want them to set. So put them in the refrigerator for 2 hours. Let them set before you cut them. And then when you cut them, then you're ready to go. Okay, so this whole process with the cooling time for the 2 hours and stuff, this takes about 3.5 hours, but your actual cooking time in the oven and in the kitchen is about an hour or so, a little over an hour, hour and a half, and then it goes in and just refrigerates. All right, so let's go ahead and throw these in the oven. Let's go see if I can get my oven in there. You can see what I'm doing. We're gonna throw these in here. All right, now we got some apricot cheesecake bars on the man. Here, we'll put our timer on for 30, 25. Let's do 25. I like to do it on the low end and check them. Just kind of a good practice. If you get a range on a recipe, go on the low end, because it depends on your range. It depends on your oven. They're all a little bit different. So go on the low end, check it, and you can tell if it needs a few more minutes or not, or if you're ready to take them off, and then that way you're not burning them, okay? So that's it. We're gonna be back in about 30 minutes, and we'll finish this up. All right, we'll see you in a minute. Bye. All right, we're back. It's been a little over 30 minutes, all right? We had 2 that were baking, so it takes usually a few extra minutes. I've kind of figured that. The recipe's 25 to 30 minutes. I did 32, been kind of checking it. They're done now, so we're gonna pull them out of the oven and we'll do a little toothpick test just to make sure. That's how you check with the cheesecakes. So let's grab my hot pads here. Put them on here on the cooling rack. Turn off our oven. All right, let's swing on down so you can see what we got going here. Oh yeah, check these out. Apricot cheesecake bars. So we're gonna do a little toothpick check. We're just checking. Basically want it to come out clean. If it's still real goopy and stuff, it's not cooked all the way. So we got them done. Let's bring you back up here. Finish this off. All right. Ooh, a little bit out of focus. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. This is our apricot cheesecake bars. Now these we're gonna let cool on the rack for a little bit just so they kind of cool down, and then we're going to stick them in the fridge, not the freezer, don't need to be freezer, just put them in the refrigerator for 2 hours. Let them set really well before you decide to cut them, or they're just gonna, if you try and cut them too soon, it's just gonna blah all over the place. You can cut them up really nice at that point, and then they're ready to serve. So if you liked what we did today, like us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, check us out through KP Media TV. They got us streaming on Apple and Android TVs and Amazon Fire, Roku, also on their Facebook page, KP Media TV and YouTube. And you can find out some of my stuff through some of my Facebook and YouTube. Check out the info at the end of the show. And remember my 4 Fs. family, friends, fun, and food, the things that I consider to accentuate life. And glad you joined us today. We love you. Enjoy. We'll see you on down the road. See ya. Bye.